Hip-hop artist and fashion mogul Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, made more headlines following his interview with Fox News' Tucker Carlson last week. During his sit-down with the conservative host, Ye argued that politicians, Democrat and Republican, only see black people as poll numbers. Here's a snippet.
Politicians, all black people are worth is an approval rating. The Democrats feel that they don't owe us anything, and Republicans feel that they don't owe us anything. Blacks have never demanded something for our vote. And that's something I talked to Ice Cube about. What are we asking for? How do we change our life? If all of our organizations and all of our colleges and even our title as black was made by white people, all of our jobs, and Black Wall Street, Harlem after gentrification, there's never been a fully black-owned community where we have all the municipalities, things that Dr. Claude Anderson talks about. We need that.
Here to discuss Ye's comments is host of the Straight Shot No Chaser podcast, Tezlyn Figaro. Tezlyn, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. So what did you think of Kanye's remarks about the black voters and whether they've gotten what they wanted or even asked for anything?
Yeah, typically, and I know Bree follows my work, I am usually about the message and not the messenger. But in this case, Kanye's comments are in bad faith. He is not the best messenger for this particular message. In fact, it is acting more like a mascot, and I reject that. It is message over mascot. And the reason I'm saying this is because many of us have been demanding more for the black vote by Democrats and Republicans. We demand more from Democrats and Republicans. But while we were pushing that message, Kanye was running around saying slavery was a choice. So I cannot conflate my thoughts with Kanye's. No matter how bad I want someone on a major platform to demand more for black voters, we have to be very careful in this case and make sure that we are not using mascotism. That's a new word that I just came up with. Mascotism, and make sure that we are spreading the message and doing it the right way. 1 minute, Kanye is rocking a White Lives Matter shirt, which is the anti-Black Lives Matter. And then the next minute, he's talking about respecting black voters. He has to make a choice. 1 minute, it's not about race. And then the next minute, he's calling upon the black community to support him and his black children. I will not allow black American voters to be used by Kanye no more than I want to allow black American voters to be used by Democrats, to be disrespected by Republicans, and to be unheard by progressives. This is a very serious subject, and I would love to talk about it more once Kanye is out the mix.
Yeah, it's a difficult position because when he started kind of playing footsie with these sorts of ideas and being critical of the Democratic Party back in 2016, it wasn't just him, right? There were a lot of people. I remember Chance the Rapper came out and made some supportive statements of him, saying that Democrats, black people rather, don't have to be Democrats. And I remember back then, I think in 2018, writing a supportive article for Chance the Rapper in Rolling Stone magazine, because I think that there is a real there's a really important argument to be made about what happens to black voters if their votes are assumed to be devoted to the Democratic Party. You don't see the same kind of courtship that can sometimes happen with voters like Latino voters who are more divided, less partisanly, sectioned off in the way that black voters are. You see people actually bidding for their attention and offering things substantively from a policy perspective, whereas black voters are told, like Joe Biden did during the election season this past 2 years ago, that if you don't vote for me, you're just summarily not black. So it is useful to want to have that conversation. And as you pointed out, Ice Cube was a part of that conversation. There were other hip hop artists and others who were frustrated with the assumption that black voters were going to fall in line without being given anything in return. And those people were vilified. And it was argued that they were, at that time, mascots, if you will, for the Republican Party and Republican interests. And Kanye doing this after the years that he's had of, wearing the MAGA hats and frankly not making much in the way of demands from the Republican Party has, I think, given credibility to those attacks. But separate and apart from Kanye.
Hold on, Bree, 1 second. Hold on. Because Ice Cube was not looked at as a mascot. I want to kind of back up on what I mean when I say mascot.
But unfortunately, Tezlyn, I think that he was. I don't think it was fair, but he was definitely vilified.
Let me finish my point. I've been vilified as well. I'm talking about among Black voters. I'm talking about among Black Americans. Ice Cube has always been respected by the Black community. So let me be clear in what I'm saying. Yes, we've been vilified. I have talked about we need more for Black voters. I've been going on Fox News for 6 years saying that. It's in my pinned tweet. What I'm talking about now is Kanye is not the right messenger. Ice Cube has always had respect from Black America because he has consistently talked about Black America. He has consistently talked about the importance of Black people getting respected from the 90s until now. So Kanye cannot 1 minute be all about Black voters and then the next minute saying slavery was a choice. So yes, it's a great argument, but he is not the messenger, Bree. Black Americans who are fighting this on the ground, wanting more for our vote, we won't allow our message to be conflated with someone else because right now we are the best topic for right now. And next week is White Lives Matter. Next week is slavery is not a choice. He's not the right messenger. So yes, it is a good topic to have. But again, we are looking for consistency. We're not looking for mascots. Yes, we were vilified for saying you're helping Republicans. Yes, Ice Cube was talked about for saying he was helping Donald Trump. But Ice Cube is no Kanye. And so Kanye has to make a decision on which side is he going to be on? The side of Black voters?
That's
or
the
just
argument I'm making. But it definitely is true that Ice Cube was vilified by a lot of Black Americans. Roland Martin came out and criticized him.
Yes.
A lot of the Democratic establishment, Black people, because of the threat that I think a respected Black person like Ice Cube coming forward and making those statements,
right?
Because of the threat that he presented.
That's the point I'm making. Ice Cube's not Kanye. Vilified versus being a mascot. When I say a mascot, I'm saying Kanye picks and chooses when he wants to align with Black people.
No,
you can't say white lives. You can't say White Lives Matter last week and dismiss the protest. And again, this is not a defense for Black Lives Matter, the organization, but you cannot say White Lives Matter last week to intentionally insult those of us that are putting our lives on the front line, not on TV, but intentionally insult those who are putting our life on the line and then double back and say, well, what about Black voters? That's what I mean when I say a mascot.
No, I understand what you mean.
Being vilified is totally different. So
I understand what you mean, and I substantively agree with the differences there. But here's what I also think is important, Tezlyn. There will be Black gatekeepers who will come for people and use the exact same criticisms they use for Kanye West for people like Ice Cube. And so I completely agree with you that they're substantively different. But at the end of the day, there were people that were using the same language about Ice Cube, saying that you're just caping for the Republican Party, you're just doing this for click. All of those arguments were made. So that's why I do think it's important that even if it is Kanye who is bringing this stuff up to try to disaggregate what is a useful, truthful critique out of what he's saying, at the same time as you're doing, you criticize the inconsistency that Kanye has been making this argument with. Yeah, go ahead.
This can't, normally when I even talk to conservatives who bring up good points, I am very good with, as you know, Bree, you follow my work for 7 years now. There are times when I can pull out what they say, the meat from the bone. In this particular case, this man, it hasn't even been 7 days since he said White Lives Matter and got a shirt about White Lives Matter. This is not one of those instances that we can just pull it out and meat from the bone and let's just separate the message from the messenger, because Kanye is literally disrespecting Black Americans. So this is just not that case. Sometimes it is where we can say, let's look at the message. Let's not look at the person. Ice Cube still has respect on the grassroots level, still has respect in the streets. So let's not confuse the messenger. I'm not talking about vilified by the establishment, vilified by the gatekeepers. I'm vilified by the gatekeepers and the establishment. What I'm saying is Kanye cannot pick and choose when he wants to carry the Black torch. We reject that. We reject that. That is not, it doesn't work that way. You don't get to just be our friend whenever it works for you. That is mascotting. It is a big difference. And I can't conflate that, because conservatives that are saying, yeah, but let's look at the meat. Let's take the meat from the bone. They are desperate to have somebody with a major platform go against Democrats.
Yeah,
and although they are desperate to have that, Kanye is not that person. They need to go find somebody else that they want to uplift to bring that message. But it is not Kanye in this particular incident, because it hasn't even been a week since he pooped on those of us that are fighting for Black lives. And I'm not talking about Black Lives Matter, the organization, but those of us that are putting our life on the line. He pooped on that. So Kanye should be quiet in this instance.
And he also said pretty gross things about Jewish people. Look, I think he's just kind of a kook, and conservatives are desperate to elevate any celebrity who starts saying things that are vaguely right things. Right-wing things. They go, oh, look, a conservative celebrity, yay, let's fawn all over him. But
well, Robbie,
it's just kind of a kook. I don't get it.
What do you make of the fact that people like Candace Owens, around the Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter rather T-shirts, put out videos saying, very laudatory things of Kanye, saying, of course he makes a lot of sense. People are going to try to dismiss him, but he's great, and they built him up in this way. And there's this kind of 1-2 punch where days later, Kanye is tweeting these anti-Semitic statements. Do you expect any retraction there? Because I haven't really seen it so far from conservatives.
No, probably not. Though I don't know. I haven't seen anyone. Well, I've seen some people obviously criticizing him for that. Meghan McCain, although she's not a new right conservative figure, but she's definitely conservative. She was going hard on him for this, and I agree with her, bashing Republicans for exactly what I'm just saying, being willing to celebrate every single, saying on one hand we don't want to be ruled by Hollywood and what is it? Well, why do celebrities and actors? Why do we care about? They don't have smart policy opinions. Yeah. And then when they hear a policy opinion from one of them that they vaguely like, they go, "Oh, that's our person. We love them." It's very, very silly.
And Bree, can I say this, because I want to be clear? Kanye has been reached out to on the back end. He's been reached out to on the back end to explain how disrespectful the White Lives Matter shirt was. It's not saying that, yes, people's life don't matter. We know everybody's life matter, but Black people's life have not mattered in this country for 400 plus years. He has been reached out to on the back end, explaining the disrespect. And he came out and he doubled down and he tripled down. So he will not know. This is not one of those instances that we can just say, yeah, but let's just look at what he's talking about. Let's take the meat from the bone. No, not this time. The meat is off the bone. It's over with. Kanye's on his own in regards to how he has disrespected Black Americans. He will not, I repeat, will not use us, Black Americans, Black American voters, to carry his damn water. He needs to figure out how to make himself right with his community. We will not be used when he wants us to go after Kim Kardashian and his Black children. We will not be used when he says slavery was a choice. We will not be used when he's going up there hugging on Trump, saying that's his daddy and he feel good about wearing the red hat. Kanye is not the messenger. We reject it. We reject it loud and clear, and he will not put us in a big mess with the Jewish community because now he has declared DEFCON 3. No. He's on his own. He's going to have to fight them and figure it out on his own. Fight Kim on your own. Do all the rest of that, brother. And when you get some act right, in the words of Jeezy and Yo Gotti, when you get some act right, then come back to the table, to the Black community, and then we'll move forward.
Thank you, Tezlyn. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll have more Rising for you right after this.